When military men and women come back to civilian life, they need jobs. Organizations like Veterans on Wall Street are helping them make that transition. Patricia LaBorda, a founding member of Women Veterans on Wall Street, now works for UBS. One of her mentors, Patricia Murphy, is a wealth advisor and senior vice president at UBS and is part of a military family. Her son is a lieutenant in the Navy. Kelly Demers is a graduate of West Point and is currently Senior Vice President and Private Client Advisor with Bank of America Private Bank. All three are with us live today.
And welcome back to this special Veterans Day edition of the Halftime Report. Live today from the Women's Memorial in Arlington, Virginia. With us now is Kelly Demers, Patricia Murphy, and Patricia LaBorda. Ladies, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, guys.
I'm going to start with you, Patricia LaBorda. 13 years in the Army. How did this group come about?
Yeah. So it really just started reflecting from my experience leaving the military. And so I moved to New York for grad school and then figuring out, okay, now I want a career in financial services. And just during that process, just naturally I realized I need to learn about what I'm getting myself into, and just having mentors to really help me make that informed decision, I found was extremely important during that process. And I think that's something that a lot of veterans will benefit. And so that's why we created Women Veterans on Wall Street, to create a network so veterans in the industry can share that information with women veterans that are thinking of making that same transition.
Are we getting better in hiring veterans, especially to jobs like that on Wall Street?
Yes. So the hiring effort is absolutely getting better, but I think women need to come in making that informed decision. Is this the industry that I want to get into? What is it that I want to do next? And feeling confident, because the resources are there, both in the military and also in the private sector with nonprofit organizations, but being strategic on how you leverage and put that all together and figure out what is it that I want to do? Do I want to go to grad school, or do I want to take that first career?
Patricia, you've been a mentor.
Yes,
to Patricia. Your son is a lieutenant in the Navy. Talk to us about all of that.
Well, I first got involved with the UBS Veterans Network about 10 years ago when my son was commissioned into the Navy. And because I have no military background, nor does my family, so I thought that this would be a good way for me to learn about the experiences of military personnel. So through that, UBS works with one of the partnerships on the street called American Corporate Partners. And that organization mentors executives throughout the Fortune 500 companies to work with some of the transitioning military.
Kelly, I mean, the number of women has doubled, I believe, in the Corps over the last, 30 years? I mean, you've really seen proliferation, I think, of women who want to be in the military, and then ultimately they need to transition out if they don't want their entire career to be that.
That's correct. For my case, I did spend 4.5 years on active duty. And when I transitioned from the military, that was before internet time. And there really wasn't a whole lot of mentorship programs out there. And so I didn't jump right into finance at that time. I chose a different career path. And I realized that I wasn't really fulfilled. And being a soldier, I'm a soldier for life. It's in my DNA. I wanted to help people, and what a better way to do it with their finances.
Mm-hmm. Can you? I mean, what lessons did you take from being in the service to managing people's wealth?
There's a lot. There's a lot of skill sets that really go well into finance from the military. Discipline.
Right. Maybe that's the most important thing. Gosh, that's a word that I hear from those on our show all the time. The discipline that it takes to make the right decisions. Is that the number one thing, or are there others?
Discipline, integrity. We are dealing with confidential information of the their personal finances. I also work with a lot in a team environment. So in the military, you were surrounded by lots of different skill sets, people from all walks of life. And that's very similar to my role in the industry, is that I have great people that work with me and help my clients out.
Yeah. Patricia LaBorda, discipline, is that another thing that you've taken from your 13 years in service?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially your formative years in the military. You're trusted with a huge amount of responsibility, and the discipline and the integrity and the values that across the board veterans bring into any industry that they crossed over to is transferable. And that's something where we want to make sure that truly resonates, but also giving veterans the opportunity to figure out what is the industry that I would most likely want to see myself in the next 3 to 5 years and down the road if they ever make another transition.
How big can your organization be?
So right now we have about 200 members that volunteer to engage with veterans that want to reach out and learn more about their industry. And it's more of an informal conversation to create a network where they can just reach out and ask those questions just to learn about their experience and hear their story.
And 8 firms are partnered with you?
So we have about 8 firms that have supported veterans and helped us host events. And
only 8?
So not only 8, but so we have our solid,
And I say that because we want everybody to be a great supporter.
Yeah, so we want more organizations, especially across the industry. So we want to branch out, not just in financial services, but private sector more broadly to, open up their, doors to have veterans come in, just ask questions and even shadow and see what it's like to work here and just see is this the industry that I want to cross into.